Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As I said it many times before, there's gonna be a economic fight, war between Russia and everybody else in the Western world who supports Ukraine and try to see Russia collapsing. And as I said before, I have my money, I think, on Russia winning it because they have actually almost everything they need, whereas the other guys don't have energy and is winter time. Guess what? In Czech Republic there are mass protests, street protests as we speak right now. And I just covered another topic related to this one in my previous video, just before this one, where Slovakia Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of Slovakia, came out and said the Slovakia's economy is on the verge of collapsing if we don't get money from Brussels, from the bankers. And they're thinking of nationalizing companies, especially the energy companies, which are, are just the victims of the policies instituted by Brussels at the orders of the United States with the sanctions of Russian energy. So this is where we are at. Slovakia, now Czech Republic. Czech Republic had another mass protest about a month ago, about 100,000 people in Prague, I think it was, they say. I didn't count them, but I'm just reporting what I read. Now, this article comes from Sputnik, and it says here, when I got this one was about an hour ago, and they said that this is live. Czech protests rally in Prague demanding national negotiations over Russian gas imports. So they were having it live, Sputnik. It occurs right now. And I'm reading the title, Czech protesters rally in Prague demanding negotiations over Russian gas imports. I knew, and probably you knew as well, this would happen if Russia did not collapse, and it didn't. So earlier this month, the East European country faced major rallies with up to 100,000 people demanding that authorities engage in direct talks with Moscow regarding gas deliveries. Sputnik is live from Prague, where protesters gather on the streets to demonstrate against the government and EU policies urging neutrality amid the special operation in Ukraine and demanding a resumption of gas imports from Russia amid a major energy crisis. And here it was, you could put it in live, they were covering this protest. So what's going to happen there? So, I told you, these people who are in charge of countries, they are not over there to protect the rights and their countries. They don't work for the interest of their countries. They are on someone else's payroll, and it sees when they make decisions against their population, but pro other interests at their orders. Countries that don't do this, you can see them, how they are attacked. You see, for instance, Turkey, you can see Hungary, the best example, and others. Turkey just stopped the Turkish banks. There was another article that I read. They said it's tremendous pressure coming from the Americans to stop the transactions through the Russian method of banking, messaging and all that, and they stopped, because the Russians were kicked out of Swiss bank. So SWIFT, now they made the Russians come with their alternative, and the Americans say no, you can't do that with the Russians, and they stopped doing that. So these leaders of the countries, leaders are democratically elected. But the problem is, who pushes these guys in front of us to vote for them? Because the options that we have, so how do you hear about Michael, Tom, and I don't know, George. They show up somehow. Well, you gotta look back and see who sponsors those guys, who opens doors for those guys, that you hear about them. Look at the media, how they promote or push aside candidates and parties. Look how, for instance, Meloni in Italy was called far-right fascist, and it is still called, you know. And I just covered another article from a Ukrainian source. She was called far-right fascist and all that. And in the article, because Meloni writes Zelensky and offers support, Italy offers support to Ukraine, the article doesn't say far-right party, Brothers of Italy, where this is the way it goes. Brothers of Italy, far-right party. That you read, that's like coming. Fascist, far-right, extreme. These are the words they use so far. And this article, because it's a positive, they say the right-leaning, or not extreme right, not far right, just right party. You know, it's just how, so because she wrote to Zelensky, yeah, we're going to provide you with all support you need, this your country needs, then they dropped the far right and fascist, any reference to that, to Mussolini, anything like that. That's the way it is. So here, you have these guys promoted, put in front of us, so we can go and say, oh yeah, I have so many options. No, those options were given to you. You didn't pick them. They were picked for you, so you can pick. It's like, imagine you have, let's say, you want to get married, and let's say it's an arranged marriage. Let's say we're in certain countries or certain historical times, and you go over there and your parents bring you wives, right, in front of you. They pick them for you before you pick them. So it's not like you go in the streets like you do now, and you go and, you know, pick your wife, which one you see. I don't like the other. You look for her. No, over there you stay and they bring it to you. So you can pick or not. The same is with these elections. They are arranged marriages. They bring it to you, all these guys that were already picked for you. So you can pick out of the 5. You don't have the 6th or 7th. You don't even hear about them. So these guys here now, the public, the population, the nation, disagrees with the decisions their elected officials, the weasels, made in their names at Brussels for the sanctions for a country that, okay? And now they're suffering. Germans are there, the Slovaks are there, these are the Czechs right now, the Hungarians are, because it's this guy is still supplying Orban with Russian stuff. And more to come, more to come. Countries that depend not only on oil and gas. You'll see inflation and all this. And you know what was the alternative in Slovakia? The alternative offered was by the leadership, give us more money, Brussels, and money from wherever bankers, and you got it, and then we're going to pay with interest. Give us more money, and or nationalize the companies. That's communism. That's you're going to own nothing because the government is supposedly, we're all in it, but we're not, because there's some people controlling it, and those are people like you and I, but it's not you and I, that's someone else. Again, weasels probably promoted by other interests, and they nationalize companies. What does that mean? You're not going to own anything, and you're going to be happy. Remember that connection. It seems to go. Because nowadays, when you see that a country is doing bad economically, the first alternative is nationalization. I haven't heard this in, I don't know, 10 years ago. I haven't heard that. Or 5 years ago. But now, this is like the option that goes natural. That's a natural way, nationalizing. No? Well, no. What policy did you implement to create such an economic environment where your companies go busted, go bellied up? Sanctions in this case, and COVID and others, sanctions and all that. So, yeah, mass protest. What do you think is going to happen? I think it's going to spread in Europe. It's not going to be only Slovakia, Czech Republic. You'll see more. Germany is ready. Germany. But anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.